not going to lie. I'm feeling a bit deflated about West Ham this week. I think it's just the Newcastle result. I really was hoping for a lot better. I knew it was going to be a tough game, but yeah, it just felt that we didn't really impose ourselves as I hoped we would have done in that game. And I feel like it's just a bit of a shame because it was such a good opportunity as well, wasn't it? With the other results, we could have leapfrogged three sides, including Tottenham and Man United, so it would have been really good. So yeah, typical, isn't it? Coming out of defeats, you do feel a little bit deflated. And I've got to be honest, I've got a bit of an update. I'm going to talk about Jonathan David in a second, but the news regarding Crescentia Somerville has really annoyed me. It just feels like history repeating itself constantly with West Ham. I don't know what this club is doing when it comes to injuries, dealing with injuries, diagnosing players and treating players. We just seem absolutely crap at it sometimes. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying with everybody, but we always seem to be somehow picking up injuries that always seem to be shrouded in mystery. We don't know what they are. We don't know what the injury is. We don't know what the treatment is. But how many more times are we going to get that? We had it. Max Cornet was the sort of big one last season, wasn't it? Where he was just continually out, always flying off somewhere to get treatment, but we never knew what the injury was. It was this mystery calf injury. They couldn't work out. They couldn't work out when it was going to be done. Well, he's out in Genoa now and he's playing every week. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so he seems to be all right now. Playing well as well, which is a good thing for us. We can flog him. And then we had Nicholas Fulkrug with early on this season. Oh, he picked up an Achilles injury. Oh no, it's an ankle injury. Oh no, it's definitely an Achilles injury. He's only going to be out for 2 weeks. Oh no, it's going to be 8 weeks. And that went on and on and on, month after month after month. And now we've got it with Somerville. Do you know what I mean? It's just the same thing again, where he pulled his hamstring. Okay, and they originally said we think it's only minor, a couple of weeks, and he'll be back. And then it was like, well, it might be a bit 2 to 4 weeks. Okay. But, that was the 10th of January. We haven't seen him since, And then they said, well, he's in bad shape. And all we keep seeing is videos of him running around and training and looking good. And he keeps telling everyone he's getting close to returning. And basically the update from ex-WHU employee today was, pretty crap, really, surrounding Somerville. It basically said that they don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, I just don't understand it. They're saying that the player's now refusing to have an operation, which, by the way, is quite commonplace, I've heard. Apparently, Kurt Zuma's done this before. It's basically where a player just says, look, I just want to recover myself. I don't feel like I need an op. Which seems strange, doesn't it? Because you'd imagine that the club, you'd think, would have the ultimate say, surely, because we're paying the wages and we've got our medical team saying, no, this is what you need to have to get better. Surely it can't be down to the player to then go, no, I don't want to do that. So, well, we need you back. Don't know. I'm finding the whole thing very frustrating. And basically, the update is pretty rubbish now. We're hearing that it could be out for not only the rest of the season, he's not going to be available during the summer, and he might not make the start of next season. It's like, how is this an injury that's supposed to be 2 to 4 weeks has turned into something that's going to take him out for about 9 months? It's just insane. It's so deflating. And I think as well, because I've been looking forward to seeing Somerville come back, like we all have, playing under Graham Potter. I feel like he would be a huge addition to the squad, really lift things and add that pace that we need and just add that bit of excitement that we need to see. So it's really, really disappointing. So I think that's that and the Newcastle game has really made me go, do you know what? It's just, this roll on May, for God's sake, let's get this bloody season done as soon as possible. I'm bloody sick to death of it. So anyway, that's how I'm feeling, a little bit deflated. So I do apologise. However, if you're new to the channel, it takes 2 seconds to subscribe. So do subscribe. I really appreciate it. It might be that you watch the channel quite regularly and you're not a subscriber. So do double check for us. We really appreciate it. And also hit that like button because, as I said before, it helps with the old algorithm on YouTube. And we can pick up a new a fan along the way or two, which is always helpful. So we really appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about more happier things, I suppose. Well, it's not going to be that happy, but people aren't going to like this update because people get a bit annoyed talking about Jonathan David because people go, oh, it's just never going to happen and all that kind of stuff. However, whether you may feel that if it's going to happen or not, obviously there is a feeling that West Ham are sort of chancing their arm a little bit, going as hard as we can in for a player that's very highly rated and wanted by Barcelona, wanted by Arsenal and all these other big clubs that are circling for him. But it seems West Ham, let's be honest, at the moment, it seems West Ham are in the lead. I would go as far as saying. It's not to say we're going to get him, but at the moment, if you were to say he's going to pick one, he's going to sign for a club, you probably would have to say West Ham because it seems that West Ham have been having the talks. We're the ones that have put a proposal together. Apparently, we've tabled a €20 million package for him and his team to sign, and we're still willing to offer more by the sounds of it, and we're willing to negotiate and see what we can do. And on top of that, it's been reported by ex-WHU employee that Jonathan David's representatives were at the London Stadium on Monday night to watch the Newcastle game, which is quite alarming in itself because I wish they'd gone to a bloody another game. I mean, I suppose it won't have too much of a bearing on it. I think it was more a case of schmoozing his associates and warming them to the idea of moving to the Premier League and to London. I'm sure they're trying to pitch what the plans are for next season and all that kind of stuff. Look, I'm certainly not feeling like it's impossible to sign Jonathan David, because the reason I say I think we've got a bit of a chance in this is because although the other clubs are being linked with him, Arsenal, Barcelona, and all these big clubs all circling him, nothing's ever really seems to happen with these moves. We've heard this so many times. All these big clubs are looking at Jonathan David. They're going to make a big offer, but we hear that season after season, don't we? That he's going to make a big move. Well, that hasn't happened. And as I say, when you talk about clubs that are in talks to sign him, because he is available now, although he's still under contract, you can actually do a pre-contract agreement with him now, get him to sign it, and he could be a West Ham player set up for the summer. And I like the fact West Ham are going in with this. Why not? If there's a chance of landing a player of this quality, and that goes with Angel Gomez as well, then why not? I think it's the right thing. I think West Ham are doing the right thing and making the right signs. It's just, I appreciate people are saying, well, there's no chance of getting him. But at the end of the day, you can't win a raffle if you don't buy a ticket, as I always say. So I'm glad that we are trying to get something done there, and I don't think it's impossible. I think it's unlikely at this stage, just because of the fact that he's available on a free and he's a highly rated striker in Europe. And let's be honest, most clubs want a 20-goal a season striker. I appreciate he's playing in the French league, different to the Premier League, but Diafra Sakho, I remember us getting him, and I think he was in the second tier of French football, and he ended up doing brilliant for West Ham. So I'm, and apparently he's the number one target for Graham Potter, so he really wants to bring in this summer. So I think West Ham are going to pull out all the stops to try and get him, which fills me with a little bit of confidence, a smidge. I'm not thinking that's it. I'm stead, sir. I'm getting David printed on my shirt for next season. I'm not quite there yet, but I like this update. I think it's a positive one. I like the fact that we are, and I'll tell you what's quite interesting about it: the fact that his agents are at West Ham and they are coming to games. They're in London and etc. So it kind of shows there is an interest there. I'd like to think that the talks might be at a stage now where a little bit more advanced than where it maybe once was of us just throwing a bid in. It seems like we're obviously having quite a lot of dialogue, and they're at the ground, they're meeting our hierarchy and all that kind of stuff, and we're trying to convince his team that this is the place to be. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. It doesn't exactly help the fact we've got no European football once again next season. It doesn't help the fact that we're sitting in 15th in the league, wherever we are, 16th, something like that. I don't want to look at the table at the moment. These things aren't helping our case. Let's be honest. But however, you'd like to think that West Ham can say, look, this has been a bit of a crappy season because of the whole Lopetegui thing, hasn't worked out very well. However, we're very confident going forward, etc., etc. And also, it might be a case that, like we do with Kudus, that we might put in a buyout clause in the contract that might be able to get it over the line. Look, I think it's quite a good update in terms of for Jonathan David. I feel like things are moving forward. It might not be moving forward to say we're definitely going to sign the player, but I feel like we are making steps towards a possible deal there. And let's be honest, we're not. It's not the case, as I've said, that we've just thrown a bid in and run away and thought, let's just see what happens, which sometimes I felt we've done in the past when we've gone for bigger names. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to go for that player. It's almost like, well, we weren't really that interested. We're just sort of trying to show that we are, but we're not really. This feels different. This feels like, John Day, we are really keen and we're really interested to try and bring him over. So, yeah, I quite like the fact that the representatives were there. I think that's really good. Angel Gomez, on the other hand, obviously his representatives weren't there at the ground. Jonathan David feels like it's a little bit more advanced than him. I believe, from what I read from reports, I mean, this isn't coming from any insider knowledge, it's that I think that he prefers a move to Spurs. I think that's what's apparently the case, and Tottenham are interested. But again, no one's making a margin. No one's getting deals done or anything like that, as far as I understand it. So it feels like West Ham are actually on the front foot. We are leading the chase for both of these players at the moment. It's only until then others come involved that we're probably going to struggle. So I think the next few weeks are going to be quite interesting, because, as I say, we can get a deal done now. So you wonder how it's going to play out. I can't imagine, though, that his agents are going to be rushing to sign something, because surely they're going to want to see all these other offers that come our way, unless we can put something on the table that's incredibly lucrative. I mean, the fact he's going to be a free transfer enables us to throw that kind of money directly at the player. I mean, I think, as I say, I think 20 million euros, I think it works out about 16 million quid, something like that. So, I mean, so if we can get a player like that for 16 million quid, I mean, it's a massively, it's a huge deal for West Ham. Yes, that's where we are with that. John, as I say, Angel Gomez doesn't feel like it's that kind of close, and I'm not set on that one. I don't get. I've never really had a feeling that we're going to get that one over the line. If we're going to get one, I feel like if we're going to get one of these players, it's more likely to be Jonathan David, which I know to some might sound ridiculous. I know I'm going to get slated for saying it, but I do. I've always had this sort of belief that we might be able to do something. I'm not really, as I say, I'm not really confident, but I do get the feeling that something could happen there. Yes, that's where we are at the moment. I'm going to have some more updates from XWH Employee. We've got some contract updates in terms of some of the academy players. Freddie Potts included in that. Ollie Scholes have already talked about. We'll come back to that in another video. And hopefully we're going to get better news in Somerville, because that is a real bad blow. And I really hope that that gets clarified. It's not as bad as we're first reporting here, but it doesn't sound good, does it? Let's be honest. It sounds like a real kick and a real blow and another frustrating moment in this season. But look, let's hope things pick up. And look, I'll be back with some more videos this week, of course, probably one tomorrow, and a bit more update in terms of what X has said. But yeah, Jonathan David, representatives at the London Stadium. So just want to see how it pans out. Come on, you ones.